What's going on? I'm filming with the Canon R5 Mark I, but the R5 Mark II specs have leaked in CanonRumors.com, and these leaked specs, they don't seem to be pretty impressive now. Now, of course, we haven't officially heard an announcement for the Canon R5 Mark II, and there could be a lot of specs that are yet to be announced that could be exciting. But as it stands today, it doesn't seem to be that exciting. What am I talking about? Now, if you like to talk about cameras specifically for video, definitely consider subscribing. Now, the way that I'm going to do this video today is I'm going to talk about a recent music video that I filmed not too long ago with the Canon R5, and then start to think, if I had the Canon R5 Mark II with at least the listed specifications, if they were true, would it actually have benefited me to have the R5 Mark II, or did I get everything I wanted based off of the Canon R5. Now, this video that I filmed, it was late last year. It's for a music video by the artist Sophia Angelica. It's called Flying On, and it released the day that I'm filming this video. So check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. But while filming that music video, like I said, I had the Canon R5 all day, filming in the early morning, and what I'm going to do is talk about the listed specs that were shown in Canon Rumors, and then see if those specs would have benefited me that day. So here we go. First thing on the list, 45 megapixel BSI CMOS image sensor. We believe it'll be stacked design. Now, when it comes to low light benefits, that of course would be awesome for the Canon R5 Mark II, but since I was filming during the day, actually early morning, that added low light capability that sensor would technically allow you to have wouldn't have benefited me at all, because my lighting situation was just fine. Now, theoretically, with that design, you might have had a faster readout speed, which would mean less rolling shutter, but given that this music video wasn't planned with a lot of whip pans or anything like that, it was fine to not have it. So the R5 Mark II in this case wouldn't have benefited me. Next thing, 3.2-inch OLED articulating display. Now, based off of this spec, does it help when compared to the original R5? Maybe a little bit, but for the actual shoot, no. I used the viewfinder for some shots, or I did use the 3.2-inch articulating display of the original R5. Now, the OLED potentially could have been better in those bright days where it's hard to see the screen, but I did not have an issue that day with seeing the screen, although it's a little dim now from what I'm seeing. So could it have helped? Maybe, but it doesn't really say how many nits of brightness you get, so it's questionable, but not really. R5 original Mark I would have handled it well. Now, new Digic processor. So having a new Digic processor to, of course, process images better and faster potentially could have helped during the music video, because there is oversampling that happens when you film 4K, right? Now, that day I filmed 8K RAW, so the oversampling wouldn't have helped, but theoretically, if you have a faster and much better processor, then there were times that I was filming in 4K 60 that I could have potentially filmed in 5K cropped RAW or 8K at 60 frames per second. A new processor usually means new features that actually push what you can get out of the resolution much better, and the advantage of shooting RAW was definitely shown there. So potentially the processor could have helped, but in this round I'd say it definitely would have been nice to have a Mark II. No mechanical shutter. Would it have helped that day? No. I didn't use the shutter that day because we were filming videos, so we're just going to move on. Max burst 60 frames per second. Does that help? Again, it's a hint to the fact that I could have probably had 8K 60 RAW, but didn't. So 8K 60 RAW would have helped during the shoot. Now, for the day of the shoot, I probably could have gotten RAW off of the original R5 if I was using an Atomos Ninja V+, but I didn't have it at the time, and getting that full frame 8K 60 frames per second RAW would have probably been really nice. So from this standpoint, it's a hint that it could have helped, but who knows. Next one, new AI autofocus features. That is potentially something that could have helped. AI autofocus, there were times during the shoot where I was in and out of focus, and granted, R5 has amazing dual pixel autofocus. but to have something that I could have counted on just a little bit more to know that the artist was never out of focus, no matter how crazy my movements would have been nice. So I will say that the R5 Mark II would probably take the cake, but we don't know how good it is. But if it's better than the R5, then it definitely would have come in handy that day. 4K at 120 frames per second. The original R5 already does 4K at 120 frames per second. I'm assuming the Mark II would have been oversampled. For this particular music video, I did have some slow motion there. I think I did it as much as 60, but I did not use 120 frames per second. It would have been way too slow, and it wouldn't have helped me for this video shoot, so no thanks. And then the last one is Canon Log 1, 2, and 3. Now the original R5 has Canon Log 1 and Canon Log 3 when you record in just an encoded file already. But if you're recording RAW, you actually get Canon Log 2 and Canon Log 3. However, when you record RAW in Canon Log 3, you get enough dynamic range that the sensor can handle. If you record Canon Log 2, which boosts the shadows a little bit more, you're still not getting increased dynamic range, and you have to deal with a bit more noise because the sensor's dynamic range is limited. So there's almost no point in offering you Canon Log 2 when Canon Log 3 gives you everything that the sensor can handle. So would it have been nice to have Canon Log 2, true Canon Log 2? Yes, because I was dealing with a high dynamic range situation in the music video, and having just a little bit more playroom to see like details in the clouds and see the artist would have been helpful. So yeah. Now it's rumored that the R5 Mark II may be announced pretty soon, maybe in like late April. So we're gonna look out for maybe leaks of more specs before it comes out, or we can all just stand back and wait for the actual announcement of the Canon R5 Mark II and see if it's worth picking up. Right now, based off of all of the kind of analysis that I did right now, I still don't know whether it is or is not worth the purchase, especially since a lot of those things the original R5 could already accomplish, and I might just want to either wait for something next level or jump up to the Canon EOS R1, which might be even better than the R5, though it wouldn't be as high resolution. But if I need 8K recording, I've got the R5 anyway. So would you actually upgrade based off of those specs that have been announced, or do you think it's better to either choose another camera or wait? And Nikon purchased Red, so should we start thinking, as videographers, that's something we should pay attention to, where we weren't paying attention as much to Nikon in the past. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and as always, like, share, and you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you later. Oh, it's finally getting warm. No more winter. Bye.